The first time my family celebrated my company was after strangers did. That's the part people never see when they read headlines about overnight success. For more than a decade, I built my business in rented offices, airport lounges, and coffee shops. I missed birthdays because investors wanted meetings. I skipped vacations because payroll came before comfort. Every milestone felt earned the difficult way. My family didn't criticize me outright. They simply acted as though none of it mattered. When my sister graduated, everyone gathered. When my cousin bought his first house, there was a barbecue. When my brother received a promotion, my parents drove 3 hours just to congratulate him. When my company hired its 100th employee, I received a thumbs up emoji from my father. The day we officially reached a $500 million valuation, I stood on a stage accepting an entrepreneurship award. Cameras flashed. Employees applauded. Investors congratulated our team. I looked across the audience. None of the seats reserved for family had been used. My assistant quietly whispered, "I'm sorry." I smiled because there wasn't anything else to do. That night, Forbes published an article featuring our company. The next morning, my phone vibrated. Dad, his message was only 6 words. Family dinner at 7 p.m. urgent. No congratulations, no apology, just an instruction. For a few minutes, I stared at the screen. A younger version of me would have rushed there, hoping this time would be different. Instead, I finished my meetings first. I arrived exactly at 7. The atmosphere surprised me. Everyone suddenly seemed unusually interested in my life. My mother wanted to know whether I was sleeping enough. My brother asked about international expansion. An uncle who hadn't called me in years suddenly remembered stories from my childhood. It wasn't hostile, it was unfamiliar. For the first time, I wasn't invisible. Dad cleared his throat. "We've all been thinking," he said carefully. "Maybe it's time the family became closer again." Nobody mentioned the years in between. Nobody mentioned the empty seats at my biggest moments. The conversation drifted toward investments, opportunities, and how families should support each other. I listened more than I spoke. Silence revealed more than arguments ever could. Halfway through dinner, my phone rang. I excused myself. It was the chair of our company's board. "The regulatory representatives arrived earlier than expected," she said. "They've completed the final review. We'd appreciate it if you could join the signing tonight. The media is already gathering." I apologized to the table. "I have to leave." Dad looked disappointed. "Can't it wait? This is family." Before I could answer, the front door opened. My executive assistant stepped inside with our general counsel. They had been asked to bring documents requiring my original signature before the official announcement scheduled for later that evening. The legal folders carried government certification seals and board resolutions. My assistant spoke politely. "I'm sorry for interrupting. The authorization cannot proceed without you." The room became completely quiet. Nobody said anything. There was nothing dramatic about the moment. No speeches, no revenge. Just undeniable reality. The business I had spent years building wasn't a story anymore. It carried responsibilities that couldn't be postponed. I gathered the documents. Before leaving, I looked around the table. "I've wanted dinners like this for a long time," I said quietly. Just not because of evaluation. No one argued. No one apologized either. Some people lowered their eyes. Others simply nodded. I walked out with my assistant. The night air felt strangely peaceful. On the drive to headquarters, I realized something I hadn't understood before. Recognition from the world had never healed being overlooked at home, but it had taught me something more valuable. My worth had never depended on whether my family noticed it. The company continued growing. The headlines faded. Some relatives reached out more often. Others didn't. Our relationships improved in small ways, but they never returned to the version I once imagined. Oddly enough, I stopped grieving that version. At the next company celebration, every reserved seat was filled, not because I expected my family to come, but because the people sitting there had believed in me long before anyone else thought my success was worth attending. That was enough, if you'd like. I can also write a version with a stronger emotional twist, or a more suspenseful ending while keeping it realistic.